Of course, we are going to
Not that.
react to the Falcons Chiefs
Mm,
game. I was in attendance for that game. Um,
congratulations.
Chiefs fans, I will say the Chiefs fans definitely travel very well. They were in attendance heavy,
You would be too if you was trying to go for a third Super Bowl.
but they're very respectful. Like they pardon me, excuse me. It's you know what it is. It's the fact that you can't lose, you can't beat them. They have no reason to get mad or frustrated if something
You know
happens.
how respectful I would be of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he been my other team quarterback, and I appreciate him. He done brought me the last 2 years. That's the only joy I've had watching football.
So, yeah, they won 22-17. Not
They
without
cheated,
controversy though. There were
and by controversy, you mean cheating?
the officials in this game for the whole game. When
Cheated.
it came to the reviews. The reviews took too long. Some of them were unnecessary. They were booing in the crowd. Both sides were booing the refs. They got calls wrong. They were calling it second down and it was first down. It was just a clusterfuck. And it kind of all led up to this play where Kyle Pitts was blatantly interfered with in the
Can
end
you go
zone.
back for 1 second to the picture? Now, I want to put this in context for you guys who are watching and listening. If you notice, the defensive back has
A bear hug.
Kyle Pitts in a bear hug, like when you haven't seen your old lady in a long time and you just want to bear hug her and lift her up off the ground. That's what Kyle Pitts looks like. If you see the football flying in, this is not the football being deflected. The football has not even arrived yet. So it's very clear that this is pass interference and the receiver had no chance. Jerry Rice ain't catching this ball. I'm sorry. Randy Moss, nobody's catching this ball. And we got cheated. This would have put us 1st and 1 on the 1 yard line.
2 minutes left. 3 minutes
And the
left.
refs, and it was an obvious pass interference. Nobody missed it as you click to the right. You can see the comments. Everybody in real time knew that they got cheated. And this is the second year in a row where we lose a very important game early in the season because we got cheated by the refs. Then the refs even went back and doubled down because they asked them about it and they said, oh, from the point of view that we had, we could not see pass interference. What point of fucking view did you have where you could not see the man is in Kyle Pitts' bosom?
Yeah, I said in the group chat, I said in attendance, I said I understand why 49ers and the Bengals are so upset. Also, I don't know what they what they figured out with this left tackle and right tackle with the Chiefs, but they look like they false start every time and they don't get called for. They look like they offsides
That kick every time.
every single time. Every time.
And I will say, watching this game, the Chiefs defensive backs, I know that we want to say the Chiefs defense is good. But boy, they do so much pass interference because that's how we walk down the field. We would either complete a pass or they would defensive hold or pass interfere.
They're
Every
very
play.
aggressive. They're very
And
aggressive.
I mean, aggressive is one thing. This is just that last drive. This is what I will say as a football person. That last drive, you don't have any good tape. You can burn that shit. It looked terrible. The only thing that stopped the Falcons from winning this game is the guy in the black and white shirt. That's it. Y'all did not stop anybody that last drive. The Falcons walked right on down the field with Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Drake London. Say what y'all want to, and I'm gonna have to back off my take. I love Kyle Hamilton, but Drake London is a dog. He is a man. And if you the one thing that I do feel very confident is if you need a player to go get the ball when it matters, I feel very confident Drake London can do it. Mooney, I'm happy with what they figured out with him. He might be the high reception guy because everybody else is getting the best matchup. And I let Mooney eat. He fast, he moves, and he ain't no chump. But Kyle Pitts, another one. He manhandled that safety on the 50-yarder he had. I like what we're doing here. And I know Michael Penix is like, hey, Kirk.
Yeah, so the thing about the to me, that was just so frustrated. Yeah, there were plays. Kirk Cousins can't move. Like, Kirk Cousins is a statue. He can't really move. But that wasn't even frustrating. There are two things that frustrated me the most with this game, and my eye is twitching. That's why I'm wiping my eye because I was thinking about it. Tyler Algier was averaging 5 yards a carry. Yeah, and we kept force feeding Bijan. And then two, I don't know. I do know. Zach Robinson, when you try to get these assistants that are under the offensive or defensive gurus, they are either going to be great or they are going to be awful. There's really no in between. And right now, Zach Robinson is awful.
He's more awful than good.
Awful. Now, his first 15 scripted plays, we go down and score every time. Touchdown. Drake London was so wide open. It looked like Georgia versus
right
TCU.
Around the middle of the second quarter, we just and then we don't score again for.
Well, I was gonna get there, so I will shoot him some bail because he was calling a good game, and we kind of were about to put the pedal to the metal because we was going no huddle. Drew Dahlman, our starting center, got hurt. Caleb McGarry, our starting right tackle, got hurt. Both of them out for the game. And let me tell you what they did immediately. Blitzed. They blitzed and they took Chris Jones, and this is why, and I really wish we did this podcast so far back because I said the Falcons should draft Chris Jones when he was at Mississippi State. He went from deep nose tackle, and they put in that backup tackle, 77, and they put him right there and didn't move him no more. And I was like, oh, well. I was like, this is going to be ugly.
And that's the thing that I will say we really got to figure out. We can't let one man whoop us. And we got whooped by T.J. Watt. And I felt like after getting whooped by T.J. Watt, we're going to make some changes. And we let Chris Jones for the second half of that game just cause chaos in our life.
Not you really. Gotta. If you look at it, really, what it was more blitzing. They just kept blitzing. They kept blitzing. They just kept blitzing. That center, that A gap between the center and the guard, they were cooking that whole game.
We struggle with the zone run. Fair. But if the thing with me is we don't put all the best players on the field at one time. Never. It's like they want to it's like they're kind of trying to, all right, well, we can put these guys in now and then this guy. No, especially once you lose two starting offensive linemen, you need all hands on deck. Bijan, like, make them guard Bijan and Tyler Algier and Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Mooney. Then make a decision. We already don't have enough to block right now. At least make them pull a guy back. At least if we could go back to like a 4-man rush, we'll probably be okay. But we can't because we won't put all of our best players on the field at the same time and make them make a decision. That's the frustrating part about Zach Robinson. He got some your boy Arthur Smith undertones. Like, hey man, take this car off Eco, man. Drive this motherfucker. That's why we bought this car.
And make better decisions. 4th and 1, 4th and inches with the game on the line, and you run a stretch to the left, and it's 4th and inches. When you run a stretch play, you are normally going to start 4 yards in the backfield, and you have to outrun the defense to the spot and pin them down.
To the point.
You know what Kansas City did? They just brought in 11. They brought in 5 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers and 2 DBs, and they was like, okay, fine. If you would have went straight up the mid, if Kirk Cousins isn't healthy enough to do a quarterback sneak, you've got to do something.
And see, and I'm gonna say this as an Atlanta Falcons fan. I talked a ton of shit about the Cleveland Browns when they had OBJ and Jarvis Landry. If Baker can't throw him the ball, hand him the damn ball. If Kirk Cousins cannot run the tush push, run the Wildcat with Bijan. I don't care. Do something different. Stop doing the same. And I'm going to tell you, on that stretch play we tried to run, I wish we get a picture. It looked...
Line
the Chiefs
reset.
Won the whole line.
Line reset.
Whole line. Mashed. And we got role greater offensive linemen. But let me tell you, we lost at every point of contact. Across the board, they showed it a million times. That's the frustrating part is we did get cheated. And I'm going to go to my grave. Just like last year we got cheated. We got cheated again this year. And I ain't going to say we didn't. But for sure,
we gave him the game.
Yeah, we gave it away. And I'm looking like if we not throwing the ball, then do something exotic. We have too many different bells and whistles to Arthur Smith this shit. And it's
yeah, but you couldn't do nothing exotic there. That's why I said I'm shooting Zach Robinson a little bit of bail. When that backup center came, he might have played his way off the team. First play, that's when Kirk Cousins got hit and the ball fluttered and got intercepted. First play. That was his first play in the game. The next drive, Kirk Cousins got destroyed from the right side of the line. Like, that's what, if I understand why teams have an exorbitant amount of offensive linemen, and I understand why you play them, why they'll have 5, 6 linemen in the game, 7 linemen in the game, because you also need that game experience. That's what the Chiefs did. And the Chiefs, I will say this, there was a glaring difference between coaching. Glaring. Andy Reid and the Chiefs, Andy Reid is an offensive guru. He makes up a lot of great plays.
His ass off,
Spagnuolo, they're all really, really good. Andy Reid didn't do nothing special. Y'all want to put 3 down linemen to stop Patrick Mahomes? I'm going to run the ball with this 6'2" undrafted rookie free agent white dude that's wearing number 42, and I'm just going to run the ball and get 5 yards of carry. If y'all do that,
and they ran him until he broke.
And then
he broke.
After that, they said, okay, well, y'all going to try to stop him? Okay, well, I'm going to throw the ball to Rashee Rice the whole game. And all they did was, wherever A.J. Terrell was, if A.J. Terrell was on the right side, they just moved everybody to the left. If A.J. Terrell was on the left side, they just moved everybody to the right.
Because poor little 42 he's a good white running back. You know how them guys run a little high. They're going to run fast. They're going to run directly at the hole as fast as they can.
No diddy.
And, yeah. And he was doing it. Like, no, I ain't never wanted to play running back. And it's because of games like that where you have to do that. That is your job. What do you need? Just run straight there, and there's a man there every time trying to knock your face off. And he ran until his face was genuinely knocked off.
Now, the good things that came out of this game, our defense is legit. Patrick, now we did get burnt on that blitz where they scored with Juju.
Gonna happen.
But
it's gonna happen.
If you look at that play, the scheme was actually drawn up very, very well. The scheme was Juju was supposed to get passed off to the nickelback, and Jesse Bates was just gonna sit in the middle of the field. If you go back and look at that play, Jesse Bates had Juju because they blitzed, and he was supposed to pass him off to D. Alford. This was probably one of D. Alford's worst games. And I was looking for Clark Phillips. I'm not going to lie to you. Because D. Alford, they just put wherever D. Alford was or Mike Hughes, They put 2 people over there and they said, we're
Ooh,
going to cook
Mike
y'all.
Hughes, boy. Used in the air fryer so long. Let me tell you, boy.
And it was like, we going to cook
Prison.
you. So, and the thing about this is, but look at our defense. And the reason I brought up our defense is because our defense seems to be gelling pretty well. I do hate that we don't have the pass rush we need, but Jesse Bates is the best safety in football. I'm confident to say that. And he's the best player on our team.
He is. Last year, too. For 2 years, he's been the. And this is the reason that Terry Fontenot does, because this play specifically with Kelsey,
The punch out.
who's not been getting his footing. This was a chance for Kelsey to get an easy W and get comfortable. And he came right in. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I'm Travis Kelsey, I probably am trying to fight Jesse Bates after the game. Because that's just a right hook. He missed the first time, but he punched him. And then once he punched him, he came back through, and that's when he knocked the ball loose. And we just knew that was, it's a Hall of Famer. It's one of the greatest, maybe the greatest tight end ever. You made him drop it. Period. That's what Jesse Bates play all day. Jonathan Simmons, pick Mahomes off.
So I think we probably have the best safety duo.
And he's catching up.
Simmons,
now, he got signed late.
He's good. I will say the knock on Simmons was his tackling, and he had where he could have had Xavier Worthy for like an 8-yard loss, and he missed. It wasn't even a missed tackle. You know how like you false step, and you just like, he got me. That's what it was, and they got a first down. But Justin Simmons in coverage, boy, he is a beast.
Yeah, football is making good plays consistently. If you play football long enough, you're gonna get beat. Period. Especially by a guy who runs a 3.940, whatever Xavier Worthy is. It's life. You made a business. And you know when you're dealing with a dude that fast, you trying to gauge where I need to be. And you either sped yourself up or slowed yourself down. So either slowed yourself down so you could break down and make a good tackle, or sped yourself up because you know he's fast. It's going to happen. I don't care who it is. That's the benefit of playing receiver. That's the reason I never want to play defense. I know where I'm supposed to go. You got to figure it out in real time and beat me there. That's the reason it's an advantage. Yeah. But Simmons, as he continues to get familiar with this playbook and this team, I hope we make our best efforts to sign him long term.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier. Travis Kelce, he had a rough game. He's had a rough 3 games. He's only had 69 yards receiving. And, the joke is that his haircuts changed with his girlfriend, right? So he went from the beard and all of that stuff to now he has the state trooper haircut. That's all well and good. That's all funny. The state trooper haircut does make him look a lot older. He looks old out there on the field. He looks like he's lost his step. He looks like he doesn't have a lot of joy. He looks like he's cruising and he's trying to get to the playoffs, which is what you do as great teams. That's what you're supposed to do. Just let me get in the tournament. But he doesn't look like he's having fun anymore. And this may be it.
No. Once again, like as a person who's played football is only fun if you're catching passes. All that blocking and cardio is not fun. And teams have clearly made it where the thing that we're going to do is make sure that Travis Kelce does not flourish.
Yeah.
That makes Mahomes figure out how to work with Worthy. This is a new thing. Or Juju. Now, I will say, I told you, as soon as Juju was available, he's perfect because he's familiar with Mahomes. He knows how that works. He's a cheat code. What he's really doing is sucking up the receptions and targets that Kelsey's supposed to get. He's supposed to get the familiar targets. But now they're just doubling him. They're bracketing Kelsey. And Juju's like, I can stand here and catch the ball. I'm not fast. No. But I'm not going to drop it most of the time. I'm not going to be Kadarius Toney. And as long as I'm not Kadarius Toney, I'm fine. Andy Reid is going to scheme me open. You're going to back the safeties off, like Mel Kiper said. You're going to go too high shell safety so that you don't get beat by Xavier Worthy. You're going to You're gonna shade the coverage over towards Kelsey. Hey, that guy who y'all hate doing TikTok dances, just throw me the ball.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So it was an interesting game. The Falcons should have won that game. We all wanted to. Luckily, the Saints lost, the Bucks lost, and we don't really respect the Panthers right now. So it's really a push. But we got to win this game next week. We play the Saints.
And the Panthers won. We needed the Panthers to at least have
to lose
some confidence. No, we needed them. I think we needed them to win. Now they could maybe make it a little bit more difficult for the Buccaneers. Make it a little bit more difficult for the Saints. You might be able to steal one of those wins now. Before they were so downtrodden that as long as we don't lose to them, we good. The Panthers should not be a problem to you. You need to. You should never be worried about them. You should be cheering them on. Hey, can y'all beat the Bucks or the Saints at least one time? We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll see. Big game next week. I'll be right here watching it. I'll try to do another preview video. I'm not gonna pat myself on my back. Of course, for one of the first preview videos I did for the Falcons Chiefs game, but literally every point that I made was correct. If we don't do this, we lose. If we do that, we lose. Happened to a T. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing for the. I don't believe in. I'm gonna try to do the same thing for the Saints. Ain't no moral victories, bro. You should have won that game. Chiefs ain't have nobody.
The Chiefs are the back-to-back reigning champions. They do. They have Mahomes. They have a literal magician at quarterback. You held him in check. The offense still needs some work. It's still rounding out. But this is a game we should have won, but we did not get whooped. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm not happy. I'll say that.
I do think I have to, and I will move on. Last thought. This is my last thought. The Falcons do seem like a team that,
if y'all can't tell, this hurt us a little bit.
The Falcons seem like a team that is still learning, and if they can get hot like week 10, you could see them go on a mean. You could see the Falcons go on a mean run. I don't know how far they'll make it because right now Zach and Mike Robinson and Mike Bobo are synonymous to me. They call awful games with all of the talent, but what I'm saying is they have the ability. They can definitely get on a run because we have the offense. Bijan, you gotta stop cutting back one step towards the play side run, dog. You gotta learn pause. You gotta press the hole. Pause. You gotta press the hole in order for you to then be able to cut back. You can't go in and cut back step 2. That ain't gonna work. Yeah. That's the advantage that Algier has. Algier's more physical. Some of the run, and that's what's for. I say this was my last point. Now I'm frustrated. You are giving Bijan type style runs to Algier and giving Algier type style runs to Bijan.
Yes,
and that doesn't work. Like you ran a screen pass to Bijan perfect.
You're getting too
cute. There's no need. We don't. Arthur Smith's downfall was that he was trying to treat Algier and Bijan as the same person. I'm gonna run. And it doesn't matter who's in the game. Which coaching wise, if that's how coaches are now, it doesn't matter who's in the game. If I run this play, it's gonna work. That's not gonna happen with these two. It can't happen. You got to use them like the Lions use Jahmyr Gibbs. Case in point, go look at how they use Jahmyr Gibbs.
But that's the reason I've always said Tyler Algier should be RB1. Run the defense down. Then once the defense is sucking wind, I'm putting Bijan in there, and you Swiss cheese. But they're forcing it to Bijan, and I think it's throwing everything a little bit off. Also, you gotta find a way to get Kyle Pitts way more involved, or we're gonna lose him.
You won't get Kyle Pitts involved. We're probably gonna lose him because Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. If the play is drawn up correctly, and it says that you're supposed to go to your second read on this play because the first read is, if it's drawn up and it's gonna work, he gonna do it. If it's not there, it's a sack every time. Now the Kyle Pitts throw, we ended up having a really good pocket, and they ended up hitting Kyle Pitts because he was the fourth option. But you can't. You can't
And in
keep
that, Kyle,
doing
you
that.
got to finish that run. You were so worried about trying to. It's like you had a big chunk play, and you were so worried about trying to score that you kind of push back on the defensive back to try to stiff arm them. You got to take off and make him tackle you. You got to run like a man and be like, you know what? You're a defensive back, and I'm a massive tight end. You don't have a stand a chance. And if he trip you up, he trip you up. But you're trying to go back to like stiff arm him to get away. That cost you a touchdown.
But again, the Falcons, I'm not as downtrodden. Zach Robinson, though, you dangerously close
You
to
got to do your
Bobo.
part.